Welcome to Travel with Track Us Down. If you're just finding us, I'm Monique.
And I'm Doug. Our channel is all about retiring early, moving abroad, but mostly living what we call a better second half of life. And of course, one of the most important parts of a better second half of life is travel to exciting new places. And that's what we're doing today.
We're heading off on another adventure. This time, we're heading to Uganda.
We're off to see gorillas.
We've been to Africa before, Egypt, Kenya, South Africa, Morocco, but we've never been to the heart of the continent. We're talking right on the equator, right in the middle, right in the heart of the jungle. In this video series, we are going to showcase Uganda.
It's actually called the Pearl of Africa, which was coined by Winston Churchill, which kind of connects to Madeira a little.
There are so many places to go from Madeira. We've said this so many times. It is a great base. If you're going to move abroad, retire abroad, Portugal is a great choice. For us, it was the beautiful island of Madeira. We made a quick hop over here to Lisbon. We're spending the night getting a few last minute things. Our flight plan is Madeira to Lisbon, from Lisbon to Doha, Qatar, and from Doha, we're flying on to Entebbe, which is the airport city outside of Kampala in Uganda.
Uganda is far.
It is very far. It is down in the heart of Africa, down by the equator. It's not a quick hop, but coming from Portugal, from Lisbon, there are connecting flights, and we're really looking forward to it. So what is there to do in Uganda? Why did we choose Uganda?
We're checking off something off our bucket list, which is seeing gorillas in the wild.
So strap on your hiking boots, get your jungle gear, because in this video series, we are going to showcase so many different things. We're going to start in the capital city of Kampala, where we're going to have a few days to acclimatize and just get our bearings and get used to being in this amazing African country.
We will also take you along on safaris in future videos, and of course, the pièce de résistance, gorillas in the wild. We're also going to see some chimpanzees, a rhino safari, and of course, we're going to try and see the big five. But before you head off on a big trip like to Uganda, you have to be prepared. We're going to share with you how we prepared for this trip to Uganda. Let's start with the most important thing. Now, you think I'd start with medication, but it's not the most important thing. Let's start with snacks. We have no idea, because we've never been to Uganda, what kind of food we're going to run into here and there, and if we're going to actually get enough sometimes. So if we did bring some coffee, some teas ready to go, and some other bars that we picked up. We will have some date bars, some protein bars, some granola type bars, as well as these tablets for putting into some water for some extra electrolytes if we feel that we need it. All this easily packs up in a little case, and we will be good to go. But truly the most important thing was what you need to get into Uganda, which is the yellow fever certificate. We're lucky enough that we had traveled to Africa before. We did have our vaccination done, yellow fever, which is now good for life. And we did have a consult with a medical travel doctor, and we stocked up on what we needed for malaria, the pills for that. We got a typhoid pill as well, and some antibiotics and things we may need in case one of us gets sick. If you're wondering what vaccinations you need, the only one truly required is the yellow fever, but it's important, and they do recommend other ones as well, such as typhoid, hepatitis A, hepatitis B. So all those need to be checked through. And of course, malaria pills, we're taking the one where you take it once a week. Some people prefer the everyday pill. And we are good to go on medication. We have everything we need. Another thing that's really important is to have a little soap or something to wash your clothing with, because we're heading out into the jungle. We do want to keep our clothes fresh. So we picked up a little soap wash that can be used for a variety of things. We also have the most important thing for the jungle, which is DEET. So we're prepared with this jungle formula that is 50% DEET. So we're hoping that keeps the bugs away. We also, before we left, sprayed all our clothing with a spray that apparently keeps the clothing bug-free. So we got those things ready to go.
We are so looking forward to this trip, getting out into the jungle, seeing the silverback gorillas. It is a true bucket list item, but there are so many things to get ready. We've just things that you don't normally think about or have to plan for your typical vacation. Things like binoculars, whether you're spotting an elephant, we'll see, but that's something to pack. I'm bringing my Garmin. I don't go too many places out traveling or hiking without this. This is a just in case item. I don't expect that we're gonna get lost in the jungle. We have guides, just more of a comfort feature. Don't leave home without it. One of the things we like to have is a portable charging bank. This will charge a couple phones 2 times over at least. So if you're out and your phone is going dead, you're out in the jungle somewhere, it's nice to have a little bit of extra juice. Now, being out in the jungle, you're gonna be touching all kinds of things apparently, from vines to foliage to maybe insects. One of the things they recommend for Uganda are gardening gloves. These ones will protect your hands if you're touching any vines along the way, which apparently you do when you're trekking through the jungle. So we have gardening gloves. Another thing that we brought with us is a Life Straw water bottle. A lot of stomach issues arise from drinking water. We'll be drinking a lot of bottled water there, but just in case, we'll fill up our Life Straw and we'll have this. We don't want any stomach issues. Also brought a little first aid kit. Normally things that you wouldn't pack when you're going on vacation. This one's just a little bit more involved. This is one of our favorite items. It's robust. It has a rain cover. It has different little compartments. We actually have to bring a sleeping bag with us, so that takes up a bit of room. It's a small compact one. I think we're staying mostly in lodges, but there's a possibility if plans change that we have to tent it. A lot of different things that we wouldn't normally have on a vacation, but this is not your average vacation.
All right, a few interesting things about Uganda. Uganda is the source of the Nile, so we're hoping to check out the Nile. It starts at Lake Victoria, I think, and then obviously heads north in Africa.
Maybe I can swim at the source of the Nile.
That's scary. Crocodiles.
Yeah, no crocodiles.
No crocodiles. Another interesting fact about Uganda at this moment is that it is a very, very young country. Apparently 75% of the people in Uganda are under 30. When you think about that, that's kind of crazy. But it is actually home to half of the world's population of mountain gorillas. So it is one of the main locations to go if you're going to trek to see mountain gorillas.
Now we're doing kind of a hybrid trip. It's about 3 weeks. Part of it is with a tour. You can't just trek into the Ugandan jungle by yourself. You have to get a permit. They only allow so many permits per day. There's only so many families of mountain gorillas in Uganda. So you have to book that ahead of time, which we did. So we're part of a tour for that. And of course, when we go to see the chimpanzees, that's going to be part of a tour. But in Kampala and around other parts of Uganda, we're going to be on our own.
So in this vlog, we'll be arriving in Kampala and we'll be showing you around our hotel and what we get up to the first few days when we are introduced to the beautiful country of Uganda. Good morning from Uganda.
We made it. Night one under our belt. It was a long flight. We had an overnight in Lisbon, as we mentioned, and then we flew to Doha, Qatar, and that was a good 8-hour flight. After about a 5 or 6 hour layover, we had another 5.5, 6 hour flight from Doha here to Uganda, and then a 1 hour taxi ride from Entebbe, where the airport is, to our hotel here in Kampala.
I enjoyed that drive from Entebbe to Kampala. It gives you a really nice overview of sort of the countryside between the cities and an intro into Kampala. We had a really nice dinner here at Le Petit Boutique Hotel in Kampala, where we are staying for the next few days. Just at the restaurant here in the hotel, it was really nice. We were tired.
It's always different when you first come into a new country and you see the different ways that everybody's getting around. There's lots of people on foot. There's lots of people on motorcycles. It's all red dirt kind of roads. We're in Africa.
We like to take it easy the first day. It's always good to sort of get your bearings and have a cool down day. So today we are going to take a quiet day here at the pool, enjoy this resort. We worked out this morning.
It felt good to just go for a workout and start our adventure here off on the right track. That was a great start to our adventure here. First time in Uganda.
Let's head to breakfast.
After a good night's sleep, we headed out onto the streets of Kampala. We headed out for a walking tour of the city just to get our bearings and to see what the capital city of Uganda is like.
We booked a walking tour through Get Your Guide. We had a private tour, and we started at the university here in Kampala.
35,000 students. It's over 100 years old.
And this is called the Ivory Tower, where they keep records, and it's the administration building.
After touring the university, we headed out to the streets.
Now, we didn't pick the itinerary for our tour of Kampala. This was completely up to our guide. He was a student in tourism at the university himself, so he took us to the sites that he wanted us to see. A little bit surprising, he took us to one of Kampala's slums. This isn't something that we would normally choose to go see on a walking tour, but he really wanted to show us the contrasts of how people live. We definitely felt when we were at the slums walking around that it was a bit of voyeurism tourism. We wouldn't normally go and see something like that, and just walking through there, we certainly did not feel comfortable doing that. We felt that it was kind of disrespectful and a bit imposing on these people's lives.
I felt pretty uncomfortable on that part of the walking tour. It's really hard to see that kind of poverty and just be walking by.
The streets of Kampala themselves are super busy and dirty and chaotic, and this was just a real eye-opener.
It's really hard to walk here on our own. I'm glad we had a guide because you were crisscrossing different ways, and there's not really a sidewalk. People are coming in all directions. Cars are moving in all directions, and people were crossing major roads where there were no crosswalks. We were just basically following the guide, so that was nice to have. We did stop at the Independence Monument, which our guide did tell us the story of how life here in Kampala in Uganda has changed over time and when they did get independence from Britain, and that they have a very good relationship with the UK still. As we moved on through the streets, we went through some markets, we went through some clothing stores and that kind of thing.
Kampala is just chaos right now. So much traffic, so busy in the market. It's alive.
The markets were crazy busy. You can see the canopies covering all the fruits and vegetables. It was just chaos down there. We got to go through, which is kind of like a vegetable market jungle, just a really different way of doing business, super busy.
What are you covering? What are you covering? Covering what?
Very nice.
And the clothing market itself was actually a lot of fun if you were to look. As many products as there are people. There are people everywhere.
Our guide said there was about 5 million to 6 million people living in Kampala. It's alive. Everybody is super friendly. They're busy going about their business. There's lots of smells. There's lots of sights. It was so chaotic. It was a great eye-opener. So overall, we had a great day walking around Kampala, seeing how some people in Africa live.
So tonight we're just going to have dinner here at our hotel and be ready to pack up and head off tomorrow morning.
Well, that ends our first 3 days here in Kampala. What would you say about Kampala?
Well, it's not a super touristy city, very chaotic. I'm glad we had a guide, and it was really interesting learning about some of the history.
There's not a lot to do here in Kampala. It's more of a jumping off point where you go out into the jungle, or they have conferences here and missionary things like that. But as far as a tourist destination, I would say Kampala is not one of those. It's more of a jumping off point.
And that's exactly what we're doing. We've made our way here to Kampala. We have all the vaccinations. We're ready to go. We've packed our bags. And today we are setting off by bus to our next location.
So join us on our next episode where we head off to the impenetrable forest, where our actual Uganda experience begins deep in the forest, looking for gorillas.
Thank you so much for spending some of your time with us today. And as always, check back in and
Track us down.